both like to run that particular champion. So we'll see if that is going to be the case. And the obvious ones of Shen, Twisted Fate. It'll be interesting to see how that is handled, because Shen and Twisted Fate are champions we don't see too much of from the Dragonborns, but we know that they can be played by Against All Authority.
Definitely, and we are going to get into that ban and pick phase here in just a little second. We know Against All Authority Blue Team, they get first ban and first pick. So we know there's no positional switching going on from the result of this one. It's all about pride. Maybe, as we said, trying out something new in a competitive environment before they get into that playoff phase for Against All Authority, and of course the promotion for the relegation, I should really say, for Dragonborn. So here we go then. First bans coming out: Kha'Zix and Kale ban for Against All Authority, and Shen for Dragonborns.
I wouldn't be surprised to see something like a Lux maybe slip through the cracks. It could be picked up by either team. We've actually seen both teams playing it. Shushay having some very good performances on Lux, and of course Karthus being removed from the champion pool. Another one that's traded back and forth between the members of Against All Authority. I actually said to Slayer last week, who's the better Karthus between you and Freddy? And he just had a sly giggle and said, well, we see.
He said, I think his answer was we should 1v1.
There we go.
And figure out
That's
that one.
That's it.
Who knows, we might see that in the future. Final ban here for Against All Authority. Surely a Draven ban.
If Draven is not banned, they might just zed it through, which does look to be the case.
Or play him.
Or play him. Now, I don't know if Nono's going to pull that one out, because he has played a lot of Ezreal and Misfortune. 9 times Ezreal, 4 times Misfortune. So we'll see how they decide to handle that one. You have to imagine that if Draven is there, that Hosan is going to want to pick it, and you can see it's instantly being picked up. Freddy with a big smile. They might just be saying, look, let's go head to head. Let's just play our best and you play your best, and put in a good show for everybody that's busy spectating.
Well, there was a smile there for Freddy, so maybe trying to bait them out with that Draven pick. Maybe they got something up their sleeves. It will be Draven locked in there, and also Jarvan the Fourth for the Miluno.
So not too surprising there. Miluno does get targeted, banned from Jarvan the Fourth in many of the games that he does play. If Virtual does lock this Nasus in, it is one of his most played 5 times this season already out of the 27 games. So it's a pretty good percentage. Of course, Renekton for Freddy's another good one. But in terms of the other champions that are available, I think Kale was banned, so the only other high priority pick would be a Twisted Fate, but Shushay is not particularly well known for playing it, so maybe Lux, maybe Kennen again.
Maybe Lux. I think Lux is a good chance of that coming out here in this one. Some of Dragonborn's best performances, aka some of their few wins, have had that Lux in the team. So we'll see about that. Dragonborn's now next up for this one. And there is a Nunu. Now, a Nunu which we've seen in mid lane, in top lane, as support, can go in the jungle. He's just Nunu, you know, he's the boss.
I think that would be a solo lane if it does get locked in, but I am expecting a Taric to come out for mover. Whenever they have been able to play that Draven, it is comboed with the Taric, and it does very, very well at the early levels. I still remember them tearing apart the SK bottom line with that same combination. You can see big smiles for Hosan and for Shushay at the moment. I genuinely think they're talking about who's going to play this. And I believe it'll be either Shushay or Yamato. I don't actually think that's going to be either a support or a jungler. And that would make it Shushay's pick. I'm still predicting that if it is locked in.
Riven locked in here for Dragonborns, and that seems to be, well, that's a pick that we've not seen from them so far. In fact, you can correct me if I'm wrong here, I don't think we've seen Riven once in the European LCS.
No, not in the European LCS, but we have seen it over in North America with some just mind-blowing plays. Bottom lane quadra kill on that inner turret, which I distinctly remember. So we'll see how that pans out. There was a lot of grins between Hosan and Shushay, so we don't know who's going to play what in terms of the champion picks, because they have been known to swap roles and swap things around. So at the moment, Yi was hovered over there. Morgana and other champions that we haven't seen much of. I don't think we've seen Yi at all this split, actually, now that I think about it. So that might be a first, and I definitely like to see it. They'll get the resets with the Alpha Strikes.
We've both had 1 week out during the period, so unless it was in those weeks,
exactly.
Pretty sure about that one. Morgana is another one which, you know, North America, we have seen. In Europe, though, not at all.
So Morgana on 3.5 balance, she did get a little bit more useful. Her Dark Binding the Q had its mana cost reduced at max ranks by a fair amount, and her ultimate got dropped a lot as well, from a scaling of 100 to 150, 200 down to just 100 flat. So it just makes her more usable the longer a game goes on, because she doesn't have insanely high mana costs. I still feel like a Taric is going to be locked in here for Move It, or another another form of support. Lulu is available, who Move It has played, and Sona is available as well. So we'll see what they decide to lock in there. Or they're going to just throw everything out the window and lock in the sapling tossing Maokai. Okay, so in terms of...
Let's try and break this down then.
Okay, Dragonborn's they're known for swapping. Okay, so I don't know who's going to go where. If Shushay is going to take Jarvan into the mid lane, it's not the first time that we've seen it. I remember Ocelot running it. I think Shushay's done it himself actually in one of the games. So that may be the case. I still feel like it's going to be swapped around. I'm not 100% sure about that. In terms of the current duo lane of the Nunu and the Draven, he's got a lot of early game damage from his own abilities, and the movement speed and attack speed from Blood Boil is just going to accelerate that through the roof.
Really interesting lineup here from Dragonborns. We said it before, nothing really on the line except pride in this one. So good environment in a competitive environment to try new things against a team which, you know, against Authority are in form right now. There's very happy no as per usual, and that's obviously infectious. I'd imagine that the AA gaming house is the happiest house in Cologne.
It would definitely be. With that many smiles and that much personality, it's always great. And Dude always does the dishes, so what a score. We did see a champion swap in the last few seconds of that, and it was Jarvan for Maokai. So Jarvan is going to be in the jungle, and we're going to see AP Maokai, played by Shushay, in the mid lane. Ironically, against a Morgana, that's not too bad of a setup because Morgana, he's going to be able to sidestep her, get away from her and things like that. So I quite like that. But it's going to be interesting. You know, Shushay has been quite vocal. He likes to play new champions, and he's pulling out Maokai in the mid.
There was Virtual scratching his beard, wondering what's going on here. But this is definitely going to be an interesting one. Game 7 of 8 here on our Super Sunday of the final week of the European LCS Spring Split. So, what can we expect at these early stages then? We're going to get into game here in just a moment. Of course, against Authority on the blue side, Dragonborns on the red side. Level 1, Trevor, if you will.
So this is going to be a difficult level 1 for both teams because they both have the ability to put a lot of pressure down and actually some pretty hard CC depending on the abilities that they take. If, for example, Riven goes for her stun or for her knockup, that's an AoE ability that can land. You have Dark Binding, you have Death Sentence. So at the moment you can see against Authority moving very far forward. Move It is just off to the side, and if AA go aggressive, they may be able to throw out some CC abilities. I feel like both teams have advantages, and Hosan being the bravest of the lot.
Brave, he definitely is. As a Dark Bind is actually going to land onto him there. Can he get away from this one? Yep, no problem as the saplings come out there and explode onto Virtual. Hosan's actually going to... No, he's not. I thought he was just about to
It's not over
get away.
yet.
It's not over just yet. The Dragonborns are actually coming in for this one. They're going to go for Virtual. He gets knocked up slightly, but it's Yamato cannon that's going very low. The Ignites are down. No one has died just yet. Focus now is on Dude. Then switched over to Freddy. He's going to pop his elixir, but it will be first blood to Draven. They could surely get more from this one. No, going to have to flash away. This was a crazy start.
Very well played by both teams, though, trading back and forth for such a prolonged time. Freddy going down means he's drank that red pot already. He's at a disadvantage. Hosan's trying to recall and spend some of that money, and it went to arguably the worst possible person on Dragonborns for AAA, because all of a sudden, Draven's going to come back into lane, probably with another Dawn's Blade, if not just the boots and pots.
Yeah, boots and the pots coming out there for Draven, for Hosan, of course. That's going to make things a little tougher for against Authority. We know how aggressive this man is. If you look down the summoner spells, the lack of them is what is important right now. A barrier and an exhaust, a flash and a smite. That's all that's left for against Authority. Everything else is gone. And it's a similar situation on the other side for Dragonborn.
So interestingly, both of the AD carries had saved their barrier. So both realizing that it wasn't in threat of them going down and they could save that particular one. We do see this middle lane, Shushay. He starts the game with 35 ability power, which is a significant amount. It does also mean that he's going to be pushing onto Morgana very early, but look at the damage here onto Hosan.
Yeah, he's taking a lot of damage here. He does have the barrier, which he's going to use, but he could well go down. He will go down. Dude that picks up the kill, and this is going to be a double kill for Dude. He secures them, but, well, they started off brilliantly here, Dragonborns, getting first blood. They've come back into lane, and that advantage is gone.
So the lane starts off immediately with Nono saying, dude, help me out, and dude, why did they take the kills? But he manages at least to pull away with those, which is great for him. And of course, the double assists onto Nono's Ezreal will at least give him some additional gold. He may decide to back off and pick up some boots. He should have enough of that one, which he does. And very crucially for Thresh, with Yude, he's going to get those GP10s or the Sidestone very, very early.
Yeah, as Yamato Cannon being stunned up in the top lane by Freddy122. Of course, Renekton being his most played champion in the European LCS up until now. Well, of course, it's not going to change. This is their final game before they get in towards the playoffs in that match against SK Gaming next week, as Yamato Cannon actually going very low from this one. Freddy not going to go any further, both running the elixir already. Yeah, so this is going to be a matchup that's going to be quite fun to watch because it's fairly skill-related. They both have the ability to do a lot of damage. You have a shield from Riven, you have sustain from Renekton. So the longer the battle goes on, the more it's going to favor Renekton as he can regenerate his missing HP. Renekton so far in the LCS, 30 games played, 16 wins, 14 losses. So a fairly even win-loss ratio, but it's one of, as you mentioned, Freddy's most picks. You see Yamato getting a fair amount of poke, but Freddy's just going to use that Colombic and get that HP back shortly. Yeah, giving himself all regen. Here's Dude waiting off to the side to see if he can get a grab onto either Move It or Hosan. Let's see if we can land that one. Right now, No, just racking up the CS. Hosan is actually slightly ahead of him right now, and well, Dude has hit a hook. Sadly enough, though, for him, it's onto a minion.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't who he was aiming for. There's a lot of minions around, so it's not a battle that they really wanted to pick anyway. Even with all those, with the possibility of going aggressive, you don't want to be tanking a wave and a half or 2 wave of minions as well. It's just going to give your opposing numbers a much bigger advantage. Dude, another tentative hook. He's really not liking the minions this matchup.
And pesky minions always getting in the way.
We do see in the mid lane, though, Virtual moving in for a gank, and Shushay not even under pressure of that one. He's just like, where were you aiming?
Yeah, managing to predict where that one was going, that's for sure. It's Freddy and Yamato Cannon just bashing heads. They're going to be doing that for the entire game here. Already up to 34 CS, so that's a really good total for this stage of the game for that Renekton up at the top. As we see another hook not quite landing for Dude. So it's pretty much every time that death sentence comes off cooldown, he's just throwing it out there.
Yeah, and why not? If it does land, it can help. Now, in terms of CC, they're going to be relying on Maluno here. Can he get the knock-up?
Yeah, Maluno is going to get the knock-up. There is the kill for Maluno. The exhaust is down onto Nono. He's not in any danger, though. They're not going to chase in after that one. Nicely executed, and Dude gets caught out.
Yeah, so very well played. That aggression coming out of Nono and Dude paying off against them. Nono eats an Ice Blast for his troubles, not taking as much damage as one would hope. And just this bashing heads in the top. So well played by Maluno. It's the reason that Jarvan gets banned out against him. His ganks are very powerful, especially if you can get that knock-up in play. And like we said, that early game power that Draven has is just so difficult to deal with as a squishy target.
Yep, and that was an assist actually coming in there as well for him. We'll see what that's turned into next time. Ezreal, of course, came back into lane after his first trip back with the longsword and the boots. They need to be real careful here because Dragonborns aren't scared of going under towers, especially when there's barrier and flashback up for Hosan.
No, not at all. They're a team that is very happy to dive, but unfortunately it's cost them many times in the past. They don't coordinate their dives quite as well as they need to. So we'll see how this pans out wisely this time around. Hosan and move that back away. But Slayer, as this game goes on, is going to have a lot of tools at his disposal to actually get a full channel off on those Soul Shackles, his ultimate. Renekton has a stun. You have Wither from Nasus. He's got a Dark Binding himself. And then if you think about the box and the Death Sentence and the Flay, all of that CC, hard and soft, from the slows and the stuns and roots, is just going to allow a full channel in his ulti and probably melting people.
Now Sapling's already doing good amounts of damage here from Shushay. He is going to go in there. There is the Black Shield coming out for Morgana.
So well played there by Maokai to keep the pressure. Maluno has been a very, very sneaky prince, and he snuck into the second set of Gracia by Freddy. And once Yamato Cannon rejoins, we may see another gank, but can they actually take him down? Maluno still is not level 6. He's going to get close to it, but on the bottom there's a fight.
Yeah, we are going to see them coming in here. Hosan down to half HP, but they get back towards the turret in the top lane. They didn't quite manage to get in, but here comes Slayer around the side. Can he land the Dark Binding? He's going to actually fly flash in there first of all. Salt Shackles are going to proc here on towards Mover. The Tormented Soil is down, and the Dark Binding misses. Slayer going very, very low, will fall here, and Hosan surely going to turn around, have a pop at Dude as well. But here comes No from the side. Mover killed off by Dude. There is the Flay to knock Hosan up. Can he get away from it? No, he's going to surely go. He won't need to get under the turret. Oh, will he? Barrier used. There's the flashing. Misses the Mystic shot. No has to use his barrier as well. Absolute chaos.
It's not over yet because Shushay wants to play. He's bringing his little faces of tormention down, and will the sapling pick up the kill? Throw it, man. Instead, he's just going to root him in place.
Yeah, Twisted advance straight in, and now Freddy is getting a bit clever up on this top lane. Yamato Cannon down fairly low, but Maluno, that's his name, coming in behind, is going to get the catch in there. They get the stun, Cataclysm, flash away from Freddy. Have they got the speed to get in there on top of him again? Are they just going to go under the turret? There we go, there's the answer. Yes, they will. Maluno gets the kill, flashes away.
Does manage to get to safety, quite aggressive, but they managed to make it work, and that is what matters. So Dragonborns with the early kill lead, 5-3. They stayed a little bit too long in that bottom lane, almost got taken out. And we'll see Virtual does manage to smite away that blue buff, and obviously denying the objective from Shushay is definitely going to play into their favor. Their blue buff will respawn shortly, and that'll be donated to Slayer very, very soon.
Let's have a look at some of the items that have come up here already. The AD carries, Berserker Greaves, Vamp Scepter, Double Doran's Blade for Hosan, compared to the Cutlass, Single Doran's Blade, and the Boots of Speed. Not upgraded just yet for Ezreal.
So an interesting pickup on that Bilgewater Cutlass. Ez isn't a champion. Oh, they've caught out Hosan.
There's the hook actually landing this time around. A bit of damage comes into No. Hosan gonna focus around on Dude. And in the end, they decide not to push any further.
Yeah, Dude wasn't level 6 yet, so he didn't have the box to put down and really try to win that matchup, but he will be hitting 6 relatively soon, so keep an eye open for that. And Ezreal, a champion that, you know, he can do well with the blade, but it's not a traditional item that you tend to see on him. But coming up against Jarvan and Riven, he wants to deal with the high health champions. In the jungle, though, Maluno has been with it.
Yeah, he has been with it here. This could be interesting, actually. Shushay going to come in around the side. Slayer going to get knocked away from his ultimate range, and he's surely going to die to that Ignite. Actually doesn't quite tick over on him. Slayer has killed Shushay. There's the Wither coming down. Maluno slides through. He's guessed wrong, but Yamato Cannon's coming in. There's the Cataclysm put down. That will allow Maluno to pick up the kill, and Dragonborn's back away, 1-for-1.
Yeah, Slam Dunk manages to drop Slayer, and with him going down, it's obviously another kill going into Maluno's hand. So 3-0-1 on that Jarvan. The makings of an Aegis of the Legion very, very early on, which is definitely going to play into their favor. And Dude, another tentative hook, but he hasn't been very lucky with those hooks thus far. Thanks to the kills that he got earlier, plus the third kill, he actually has 2 GP10s already ticking over and generating more gold, as opposed to just a single one for his opposite number Movet.
There is Yamato Cannon and Freddy again bashing faces, stunning each other up. Freddy coming out better from that one though. You have to feel that this lane is definitely a skill matchup. I mean, Yamato Cannon versus Freddy, the champions of course that they are playing. You see him go back and forth the entire time. Freddy though, he's at a little bit of a level disadvantage. Gone for that Giant's Belt straight away. Double Doran's Blade plus a longsword for Yamato Cannon. Yeah, exactly like you said. It's just a matchup that's going to be back and forth the entire time. Freddy, with that additional HP and the fact that he can regenerate health with his Q, means he's not going to be at much threat of going down to Yamato, because Riven needs time to chunk you down, needs time to continually bash away and then execute you with her ultimate herself. So good matchup there for Freddy. He'll just be farming himself out, but credit to Yamato for keeping up in CS. This bottom lane against the Authority are applying pressure, and it looked like Maluno was coming down, but instead he was going middle, and now he's trying to find somewhere to play. He doesn't know which party he wants to get involved in. There's Dude. Actually, a bit of damage being exchanged as a snowball comes down. Maluno now going to get involved on this bottom lane. Does have Cataclysm available. Surely will end up locking one of them up, and it will be Dude who goes down to Hosan. Will he continue to push? No is actually going aggressive here. 1 versus 3.
What he is going to force them out, but you can also see that Slayer as well as Virtual moving towards that bottom lane. Dragonborns were not interested in picking yet another fight. Good play by the Dragonborns to maintain that kill advantage, but they did use a lot for Dude. Take a look at Maluno's positioning. They may go for this tower dive that we were talking about earlier, but luckily for No, Virtual is around, and it's going to make that gank virtually impossible to succeed.
See what you did there. Slayer taking pressure from Xuche in the middle lane. Let's stick the ultimate down for a while. Riven coming in here as well, so it looks like the Dragonborns may try to set up something here for the Dragon. Virtual coming in. Will actually use his smite there to get the big Wraith, which is maybe not the best choice since, as I said, Dragon.
Yeah, so they're going to roll back around for Dragon. They do have a positions advantage as well as a number advantage. This will be 5 versus 4 at best without having a teleport in play, but the rest of Against All Authority will say, well, this will give us free time to push down the lanes. They put some damage down in the mid lane turret, and it looks like Freddy's applying a lot of damage in the top lane. So we'll see how much HP that has shortly.
This dude coming back down into the lane. Ezreal, where was he? Oh, he was hiding there on the minimap behind dude's icon. Again, exchanging things up with Hosan, but you know, having that Vamp Scepter in there certainly going to be helping things out. The red buff going to be stolen away by Dragonborns. Don't forget, there was no smite for Virtual, even if he was around there to secure that one. Xuche may be in trouble here in the middle, though. Will flash away, but not enough to get out of range of the Soul Shackles. There is a Dark Bind in a Tormented Soil. A Q from Virtual finishes off. Nice kill from Against All Authority. But look at this, the dive is coming in. Absolute Zero flashed away from him. Didn't actually end the channel before the flash from Dude came in, and Dude's going to walk away. So it's AD carry dies, and he's like, well, I got the kills here, I'm carrying.
So they trade 1 for 1 at the end of the day. You see the top lane tower going down for Dragonborns, which means Freddy's going to carry on with the pressure. Virtual actually used his ultimate in the mid lane. He's been caught out here by Maluno.
Yeah, in the end, not deciding to go forward. And look at that, Virtual popping his Ghost just to get that Spirit Fire down. In the same time, Freddy is bashing away on this top turret. Slayer going to be doing the same in the middle. It's going to force Dragonborns to recall, but they need to get a move on about this one because there's going to be a lot of damage coming to both.
Yeah, it's something they're going to need to figure out how to handle right now, and relying on Hosan's ultimate there to clear the mid wave. What we did notice about the mid lane gank when Slayer and Virtual came in, you need to remember that when that Tormented Soil, the W from Morgana's down, it's reducing magic resist, and of course when Nasus puts his Spirit Fire down, that's also going to be reducing armor. So whatever defensive statistics they build up, it's going to be dropping that in an AoE area, so that's definitely going to be playing into Against All Authority's favor.
Yep, and you see the very early Runic Bulwark picked up there by Jarvan as a counter to that. So, blue buff going to go over to Xuche. Maluno just tanking that one up. And a very chaotic match as we kind of hope for, actually, with, you know, the fact that no team in this matchup can change position in the league. And it's just about that whole pride thing coming into the final stages of the spring split. And so far, it's definitely produced.
Yeah, really, really close to a kill a minute. And it's just been non-stop action from both of these teams, plus the slightly unique picks of that Riven in the top lane. Hosan's going forward, and he just sidesteps the death sentence, but pay careful attention to Xuche's positioning on the map. I'm not even going to need Xuche.
No, the exhaust is down though onto Hosan. Maybe in a little bit of trouble. Xuche coming in there is the absolute Zero. Dude's not going to flash this one. Xuche gets the kill with a Twisted Advance moving in.
Now take a look at this. Virtual joining the party, and Slayer's coming from the Tribush. He has his ultimate available. Can he land the shackle? No.
No. Straight through the middle of them both. And I think they expected that one to come down. Nicely done from Dragonborns. But look at this. They've turned around and they're actually going in fairly aggressive in towards that jungle area. Xuche on that Maokai, who's definitely more at home in the jungle. And Virtual is chasing in here as well. Hosan doing good damage as they go back. Mover going to be the one that gets tagged up in this one, though, as the Wither does go down. Maokai's ultimate is in there. Xuche will take down Virtual. Mover going to go down in this one. Surely Slayer's just completely ignored him to get the kill on Draven. Oh. There is the finisher though, double kill. Xuche will turn that one around. Can he now get in on top of No? It looks like he's going for it.
He's going to be able to at least get that root up very soon, but he doesn't have consistent damage, and he's going to need the saplings to help him out in this particular engagement. Wisely, Xuche decides to back away, so they trade 2 for 2. Another interesting battle, and something that's very, very key to keep an eye on, is the fact that Hosan can build just attack damage and allow the Blood Boil of Mover to count for his movement speed and attack speed. And that's why he was able to do so much damage to Dude and No in that bottom lane engagement.
Let's have a look at the CS. 134 to 113. That's No being a bit more concentrated on killing the minions rather than going for those masses of kills, which we all know Hosan loves to pick up. Got that Blade of the Ruin King in there. BF Sword, Crit Cloak, and the Vamp Scepter as that middle turret goes down. from Yamato Cannon.
And also something that you can't discount from that bottom lane is the fact that Dude was continually throwing out those death sentences. So what it does for Hosan and for Movement, Hosan got the hit, but it was the exact second, the exact millisecond that Hosan got away. So it didn't interrupt it, unfortunately. But yeah, because of those death sentences, it forced the Dragon Lord's members to play a little bit more passively, you know, be a bit more wary of their positioning. And that obviously means you're going to miss 1 or 2 extra CS in that bottom lane.
Yamato Cannon just sidestepping a Dark Binding coming out there. Looks like Hosan and Mover going to go into the jungle. I think they just realized that Freddy might end up coming down, trying to close them off on that front. What other items have we got built up here? Maokai with that Sunfire Cape and a Haunting Guise.
So quite an interesting build. It's the first time we've seen mid lane Maokai, and at the moment Shushay is saying I want to go a little tanky with a little bit of penetration. Pops his ultimate just to reduce whatever following damage was going to come in. What it does mean is that his saplings will hurt a bit, but not necessarily the greatest. And you can see in terms of the trades, Hosan is winning out with those spinning axes and all the additional damage that he's got from that BF sword and that critical cloak.
Actually, it does have barrier available as well as he goes in for another hit. Axe spins back in his direction. Here we go. He's going to go in for another one. Arcade shift. Just running back and forth here. An interesting duel in this bottom lane.
It's like those fights in high school. So you want to fight, and they start pushing each other back and forth, but nobody actually commits to the fight. And Nono's just doing the best he can to stay in experience range and to CS as best as possible. And here comes Hosan again. He's going to run up, but Shushay's been caught up in the middle.
Yeah, Shushay going to be caught out stunned, but here comes Maluno. What's his plan to save Shushay? The hook across the wall. And actually, Shushay did manage to get away with the flash, but not for long. There's Cataclysm holding Freddy down underneath the tower. He gets out via the lantern of Dude, though. That was a nice, clean play. 1 kill for nothing.
Great play, and that death sentence through the wall was so well placed from Dude, holding Shushay in place. He did have an instantaneous flash the moment it was, he was able to, so at least put him to safety. But nevertheless, 1 for 0. Good dive from Against All Authority. It's what they're going to need to continue doing if they want to pull themselves back into it. Now, at the moment, Dragonborns have very little vision in the jungle, and it looks like Shushay and Slayer maybe wanting to go in.
Well, this could get interesting. We do have Yamato Cannon there as well, and it's going to be smited down by Maluno. Nice clean pickup once again, but will they get away cleanly? That's the real question. Nono going to be chasing in first. Freddy coming from the backside as well as Mover going to head south. He's basically going to be the sacrificial lamb. He's going to try an Empire, but he's got no AP, and he dies.
Did a fair amount of damage on that channel, but yeah, he was pretty much just pulling the enemies away. Trading Dragon for 1 death, you've got to be more than happy with that. At the moment, though, Against All Authority have a numbers advantage, and they're applying pressure on the bottom lane. Look at Schleier's positioning from the side. He may want to go in here.
Yeah, if it stays at 1 death, that is definitely true. Yamato Cannon is going to die there. Schleier's ultimate wasn't particularly needed.
No, I don't think that was needed at all, but he did feel like, Hosan was in range and he just wanted to get the guaranteed kill, so fair play, I suppose. He is level 12, which means his ultimate's in around about 110-second cooldown. Shushay has been caught out again. Can Schleier get the Dark Binding?
Yes, he can. Lands it right in there. We are going to see that Tormented Soil coming down. Hosan's off to the side. Maluno is going to be in there with him as well. And Virtual is going for this one. He's going to get knocked up. I'm not sure they can actually catch around. Now he's the one that's going to have to back away. Pops his ghost. Runs back in. Runs back out. Lantern will bring him to safety.
The entire time that was happening, Nono was able to get the tower in the bottom lane. Look at Maluno. He's in no man's land.
Yeah, they've all had a way to... They were all waiting, hidden in the bush. It's been a long weekend, guys. But they were all waiting, hidden in the bush. Maluno didn't know it.
So he does manage to get away with his life. Thank goodness for that knock-up and that flag that he can pull himself towards. But Against All Authority, they've just evened out that gold, closed it to within 1,500, 2,000 odd gold. The tower's now evened up at 2-2. And of course, the timing on that dragon means that's probably going to be the next objective. You can see the gold numbers at the bottom of your screen, fairly close. A couple hundred gold here and there, 700 in the top, about 1,000 in the mid lane. It's not massive amounts right now, but it's a definite advantage with the Dragon Lords.
Yep, and they are going to be pushing this bottom lane out once again. That's where most of the action's really taking place. It seems like she just got bored of that mid lane once the turret went down. He's like, well, I'm just going to go bottom. I'm going to keep pushing that one out here with those saplings, which right now destroy minion waves.
So they've got very good, wave clear with that smash and with those saplings, and he hasn't built any more ability power sitting on that blue pot right now, so I'd like to see where he itemizes next. Interestingly, in this top lane, with that Bloodthirster, Yamato Cannon is out trading as far as damage goes with Renekton, so that does bode well for the Dragonborns as far as the upcoming team fights are concerned.
Can they take the turret? Hosan is going to be coming up there. Looks like Nunu will make his appearance as well in this top lane. And Freddy is actually just going to face check straight in here. He will get knocked away, but can he escape this one? There is Nunu from the back, and Freddy gives up. Yamato Cannon gets a kill.
He pretty much just stood there and said, yeah, I'm going to go down. This kind of sucks. What did we learn there, kids? Don't face check bushes. It never ends well. What it does mean now, Dragonborns have got a 3-man stack on this top lane with a Blood Boil and Hosan with an Infinity Edge as well as Yamato Cannon and the Bloodthirster. That tower gets shredded in a matter of seconds, but they are not done. They continue the pressure.
Yeah, they're going to keep going for this one. Will they go in for Dude? That was the Lantern entry.